Yeah. Hey, outside, come on. Go on, outside. Outside.
Hey, go up there.
Go on. Scat. Where's he gone, that? That's what this pillar in the middle's gone. There's only that corner holding it up. We have it. Going. There's no more. Oh no. The end of another one. To the pub.
To all the ladder off the wall. Here we are drilling the first hole in you know, which is there is an hole actually there that's just been pointed up. So knocking the first dog, which will be the holdfast at the base of the first ladder, as you might say. Then goes the plugwood, which, as you can see, it don't go in very far, you know, but it's quite far enough, you know, it's quite safe. And that's what's termed as a dog. Then I'm going to knock in now, knocking in now. And the next stage is to the piece of rope. It's called a lashing, and it's a piece of rope about 5 foot long with a loop spliced on one end, as you can see. The next stage is to prop up a ladder and climb up it as though you were going up to clean the bedroom window. And then about 5 feet from the top of that ladder, you drill another hole, but in our case the hole's already there. You drill another hole as plumb and straight above the one below as you can get it, and insert another piece of plugwood and another dog. As you get a bit higher up, the holes have a tendency to get a bit deeper. I think it's called fear. Here you see the first ladder is in position, and I'm about to tie it onto the bottom dog, or the bottom holdfast, which you know, that's where the beer belly comes in handy. It's sort of round the hoop, round the side of the cheek of the ladder, under the rung, round the hoop, round the other cheek of the ladder, round the rung, and then back round the rung below, and a 12-inch on, and that's got it fast. It will not come off. The thing to do also is use as much of the rope up as you can, because in a gale the ends start to blow about, and the whipping comes off the end of the rope, and then you've got one with like a cat o' nine tails end on it, you know, blowing about in the wind. That is the pulley wheel to pull up the next ladder. Here the next operation is to tie the ladder to the top dog or the top holdfast that you've just knocked in, without tying it to the haulage rope, you know, because you sometimes, if you're not paying attention or you're trying to talk to somebody who's mithering you on the floor, you end up lapping it round. You see how easy it would be to lap it round the haulage rope. Yeah, that's it. That is now, the bottom ladder is now firmly fixed and as good as it'll ever be to the wall of the chimney. And the next operation is to climb up to the top of that ladder and sit astride the top iron rung and reach up as far as you can and drill another hole in the brickwork, which of course it's very easy for me here because having done this thing about 7 times before and used exactly the same holes every time, I know exactly how far I'm reaching and where I'm going, and it's quite an easy operation to keep the whole stack of ladders in a very straight line. If you're putting them up and you wander towards one side, when you're putting the staging up at the top and you've got one ladder that's maybe 2 foot gone a bit sideways and say the other one's gone the other way, it looks rather an erratic effort at the top, you know, everything's out of line and out of square. Now we've drilled the hole approximately 5 feet above the top of the bottom ladder and hooked on the pulley wheel. Now this is where the tricky bit comes in. The second ladder is tied on approximately 9 rungs from the top, which is about midway. And of course, when it's being pulled up by the labourer or the man down below, we lose more or less half a ladder of a lap, which you'll see the reason for this shortly. The thing is, as that ladder comes up, or the second ladder comes up, on the bottom rung of it, there are 2 lashings, one of which I'm using now to tie the bottom rung to the nearest corresponding rung of the ladder that's stuck to the wall. I've got the other lashing round my neck, and the 2 steeplejack hooks which have come up with it are stuck in my belt. Now, that's a secondary sort of safety precaution, the one with just a clovitch round the side, just in case that hook there that I've got my hand on, or the one that the pulley's on, if that happened to come out, I'd still be in with a chance, you know. The ladder would still be connected with 2 hooks to the bottom one. As you can see, it's slightly precarious there how it shakes about, but once you've lashed it to that top hook, which is 5 foot above the bottom ladder, you've only got about 6 rungs above that are standing in free space, or what you might call unconnected to the chimney. It is now possible to unhook the pulley wheel and carry it up the back side of the ladder and hook it on the top iron rung, while you use one of the dogs that's stuck in your belt to, you know, get another purchase 5 foot higher up still, you see. Once you've drilled that hole and put the dog in, you can lift up the pulley wheel onto the dog, which of course one end of the rope is still attached to the ladder that you were sat on. And then you'll see in a minute where when I come down and untie that ladder, my man at the bottom pulls and up goes the whole 21 pins of the ladder onto the top of the bottom ladder, which sounds unbelievably complicated, but it is quite a simple operation, really. In fact, it's so simple you can do on a good chimney on a good day where it isn't windy and you don't manage to thump the hell out your hand with the hammer. Like, you know, I mean, if you miss with the hammer, it's rather painful. There goes the pulley wheel down the ladder. Untie the lashing at the top that's holding the top of the ladder. Now it all comes loose and flops about in the wind. That's the dodgy bit when it's very windy and you're 3/4 of the way up and the wind's trying to snap the ladder off sideways, it's quite exciting. And there's the secondary lashing on the side, and then finally the one at the bottom. When you've released it at the bottom, it's at the mercy of the man on the floor and the wind. Sometimes it's rather awkward when it's very windy and the ladders start twisting round the rope, you know, that's pulling the thing up.
This particular job, I've got the contract for £7,000 to knock it down a brick at once, right down to the bottom. The reason for the price were I didn't really want the job. Like if it had been a repair job, which, you know, on average takes what, a month, 5 weeks, it's not so bad. But when it comes into months and months, you see, it's a bit different. Furthermore, when there's only like one of you and such a gigantic pile of bricks, you know, you've got to have a stout heart to take it on your own. The Briar here, there's like too many buildings, you know, to drop the thing, like, or blow it up, as some people do. The chairman of Court Halls won't let it be blown up, so I've got to knock it down a brick at once. And now we're in with a chance to get something done. Like, we've got everything working according to how it should do, like the chute at the bottom is working well, which you can have a lot of trouble with them if you don't get the plates quite right. They keep getting bunged up and you're forevermore waiting for the bloke at the bottom to clear out the bricks, and you've got to make sure he's out the way, because if you drop one down and it comes shooting out and hits him up back at neck, he's dead. Really, you're dicing with death with a rotten old top on the chimney, you know. There's been a lot of men died fiddling with them things. I've never fell off the big chimney, you know. You only fall off one of them once, like. One day, I fell off a pair of steps in a little girl's bedroom and landed on a drilling machine and knocked myself unconscious, and I don't remember much about it, but morning after I couldn't get out of bed and I had to stay there for 3 weeks, all through falling off a pair of steps. And, you know, that's about the only injury I've ever done myself. Donald, my labourer down there, he's like a very important man, you see. You've got to have a man who has got a reasonable amount in grey matter. Like here, this noise of these fans going, it's impossible to shout. You see, you get some young lad, like his heart can be in right place, but if he sees a girl in the office, he wanders away, and sort of when you need him, you know, you look down and he's gone. In the past, like, I've had lots of labourers, you know, some drank rather a lot, sort of led me astray in a way, you know. Donald, he's a staunch teetotaler, so in lots of ways he's a good ambassador for me, you see. He keeps me out of the pub. Oh, look at that. Something gone wrong with it, Donald. Well, bricks are coming out at all right, aren't they? Cheese butties again. Don't think we'll get a yard a day off.
No. Just about down for June holidays.
No, we'll be lucky and all. Get fed up and keep looking up there, you know. Well, most steeplejacks I know, people come and say, you're always drunk when he went up, like, you know, sort of. I wouldn't say that I've ever done it drunk, but if you were banging away with a big hammer all day, a few pints, you know, don't do you any harm, you know, it sort of kills the pain. There's no doubt about that, you know. Sort of, I've had characters work for me who, in the morning at 9 o'clock, like, they were got the shakes and sort of hell of a job getting up, but after they'd had about 5 pints at dinner time, they were, you know, they were quite full of beans. In 20 years, I've only ever had 2 calamities. One were a load of brick fell on top of a blacksmith shop and completely demolished it. And I thought, this is the end of my steeplejacking career. I can laugh now, but I didn't then, you know. When I come down, I was shaking all over, you know, in the pub for a pint. But Mr. Courtall decided that what I'd wrecked weren't worth keeping anyway, so there were only a very small claim off the insurance people, you see. I have to have a third-party insurance policy for people like Courtalls. You know, if I kill one of their operatives, you know, I'm in dire trouble, you see. I mean, they'd commandeer my traction engine or something like that. Insurance men and me don't mix, you know. I mean, the thing is that I don't intend dying, you know. It's a bit like being a motor car racer or this fella who jumps over cliffs on his motorbike. I bet he's not got a life insurance policy, you know. If he has, it'll cost him a fortune. No, I don't really bother with that side of it, you know. I know one thing, I ain't going to die, you know. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to die in bed with my boots on.